and timeliness of fund releases to execute projects and programs of the ministerial mandates. As part of the strategy towards ensuring effective realization of these objectives, the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation will sustain the ongoing discussions after this retreat with ministers with a view to reviewing and reprioritizing interventions in the light of lessons learned so that we can deliver as agreed. There is therefore a need for ministers and heads of agencies under their supervision to work together to strengthen the interagency collaboration, to drive delivery and synergy among implementing MDAs. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, going forward, our focus will be on execution and delivery. The Office of the Secretary to the Government will operationalize its delivery unit to ensure regular interface with ministers and ensure bilateral engagements are sustained between the desk officers and the technical teams of the MDAs on key performance indicators for tracking and selection of priority initiatives to deliver probable pathway to achieving the 9 priority areas. Accordingly, we will activate the Performance Management System, PMS, for tracking, managing deliverables, and confirming the status on delivery of government policies, programs, and projects across all ministries, departments, and agencies. The PMS is expected to guide the preparation of reports and tracking of ministerial performance mandates in line with achieving the 9 priority actions of the federal government. The objective of the PMS is to use technology as an enabler in building a sustainable and effective M&E system that provides a single bird's eye view whilst further integrating citizen engagement more systematically. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the outcome of this retreat would feed into the PMS, especially our updated targets, which will be used in measuring the level of delivery on our ministerial mandates. Ministries are therefore expected to take this exercise very serious and ensure that dedicated officers are appointed to regularly provide timely and needed information to the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation Delivery Unit. In concluding, I must appreciate the support, the leadership, and the guidance of His Excellency, Mr. President, towards the successful hosting of the first year ministerial review retreat, the first of its kind that I know of since I became an active participant in the politics of this nation, which is running to about 4 decades. Let me equally use this opportunity to thank the leadership, particularly the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and members of the National Assembly, who, when briefed about this retreat, assured us of their support for any legislative intervention that might be required to remove any constraints on delivering on government priorities. Mr. President, like I said, has supported this course. And at every given time that I had cause to brief him, even when I changed out of necessity the date of this conference or the date for this retreat, he did not have any hesitation in allowing me to spin the days that I felt were convenient. And he did that even in August of last year, when I approached him about the idea of having a retreat for ministers designate, even before they were sworn in. The earlier practices is that they will be sworn in before the retreat. And when I explained to Mr. President that when they get sworn in, they can be territorial in the courses of discussion, he agreed that we do the retreat before they were sworn in and assigned portfolios. Our sincere thanks also go to Mr. Vice President, who ably represented Mr. President yesterday and delivered his opening remarks. Let me also at this moment thank the chairman of the Governors Forum and indeed state governors who have always indicated interest in working with the federal government to ensure the success of the implementation of federal government policies, programs, and projects. To all members of the Federal Executive Council, permanent secretaries, and other top government functionaries that participated at this retreat, I thank you all for your robust and indulgent contributions at this retreat. We would also like to thank our technical partners and our esteemed resource persons, including the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Mr. Tony Blair, the World Bank Chief Economic Advisor for Africa, the senior partner of McKinsey & Company, and the former secretaries to the government of the Federation, Ambassador Babagana Kingibe and Alhaji Yayale Ahmed, for sharing their experiences with us in these 2 days. And on a personal note, I want to thank these two elder statesmen in a particular manner because their relationship has been quite invaluable to me as a person. For those that would care to know, Ambassador Kingibe was my boss in the early days of my political adventure when I became the chairman of the Social Democratic Party in Gongola State while he was the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party. After we had served in the Constituent Assembly of 1988, I was a member while he was the secretary of the Constituent Assembly in 1988. Alhaji Yayale Ahmed, when I came to wind down the PTF, even before then we had a relationship, but when I came to wind down the PTF after the sojourn of the president as chairman of the Presidential Task Force in 2000, he was permanent secretary, Minister of Education. I had cause to work with him closely because of the level of intervention of the PTF in the educational subsector. And for that, I remain eternally grateful for your advice, for your counsel, even as I have served in this office in the last 3 years. I'm sure the outcome of this retreat shall be vigorously pursued by government. I'm also confident that these 2 days is worth the effort. Your Excellency, Mr. President, I have thanked you, but I will continue to thank you because of the leadership that you have exhibited for us. Those of us that are trailing behind you, and for each and every one of us that you have given responsibility in this government. This is one president that I know, having served in this office in the last 3 years, that when he gives you a responsibility, he gives you the enablement to be able to fulfill the mandate of the office he has given you. And if for any reason you are unable to do it, it's not as a result of any interference from this president. I have served 3 years. I have not had any cause to doubt the sincerity of his heart concerning the issues of Nigeria. He sleeps Nigeria, he thinks Nigeria, and I am very sure he has what it takes to transform this nation. Your Excellency, Mr. President, I assure you once more that we shall not rest until our goals are achieved. Under your leadership, Nigeria must and it shall change for the better. I thank you for your kind attention.
You are tuned to NTA's live telecast of the closing ceremony of the presidential retreat for reviewing the the performance of ministers and their ministries in the first year of the second term of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. We're reaching you live from the State House Conference Center in the Presidential Villa, Abuja, where this first year ministerial performance review has been holding within the last 48 hours. The two-day retreat, which commenced yesterday, is already on the home stretch, and in a short while, Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, will give his charge to the ministers to bring the retreat to a close.
Thank you. Please sit down. Your Excellency, the Vice President, the President of the Senate, Speaker, House of Representatives, the Governor of Ekiti State and Chairman, Nigerian Governors Forum, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, members of the Federal Executive Council, permanent secretaries, heads of extra-ministerial agencies, of government, resource persons, senior government officials, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The last 2 days have provided an opportunity for us to undertake an objective assessment of our stewardship of the contract we have signed with the Nigerian people since the inception of our second tenure as a government. From the report on the scorecard and the engagement with participants at this retreat, it is encouraging to note that progress has been made on all fronts, in spite of the multiple challenges that have arisen since our coming to office. I therefore commend your efforts, commitment, and resilience to the cardinal aspiration of this administration. As I stated in my opening remarks yesterday, the Nigerian people expect dedication and commitment by all of us in implementing policies, programs, and projects to improve the quality of their lives and set Nigeria on the path of prosperity. Let me reassure all Nigerians that this administration remains resolute in initiating programs aimed at improving the quality of lives and uplifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty over the next 10 years. The proceedings of the last 2 days have been designed to ensure the attainment of ministerial deliverables is on track and to accelerate achievement of the 9 priority areas in the face of current challenges. Distinguished participants, the discussions at the retreat have revealed that our country has what it takes to weather through the storms of contemporary challenges. Within these few days, we have examined the numerous policies, programs, and projects the administration has embarked upon, which are targeted at lifting our people from the shackles of poverty, protect their lives and properties, and ensure equitable distribution of the nation's wealth. We aim to gradually close the gap between the different classes to bring joy to a greater number of the citizens. I am glad that these policies, programs, and projects have recorded appreciable successes. Our renewed vigor on agriculture has been demonstrated through our Anchor Growers program and the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative. We have made progress on the railway projects with a view to connecting different parts of the country. The Lagos-Ibadan rail line is up and working. The Abuja-Kaduna rail line is efficiently running. Arrangements are being made to complete the Ibadan to Kano, commence the Port Harcourt to Maiduguri line, which will connect the southeastern and eastern states to the northern states. Work is ongoing at the second Niger Bridge and is at 46% completion. We hope to commission the project before the end of our tenure in 2023. Several contracts have been awarded to rehabilitate, reconstruct, and construct our arterial roads to reduce the hardship to commuters and increase economic activities across the states. We have flagged off the Ajakuta-Kaduna-Kano AKK gas pipeline project, which is being developed at this critical time in Nigeria's commitment to increasing our infrastructure assets and promote the use of gas in the domestic market. Our anti-corruption fight requires no emphasis. We have made consistent efforts to build strong institutional capacities in the fight against corruption by strengthening our anti-corruption agencies, including the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Independent Corrupt Practices, and the other related offenses commission, the Code of Conduct Bureau and Code of Conduct Tribunal, supported by a Presidential Advisory Committee on Anti-Corruption, such that they work independently and jointly, being guided by law. We have also worked to address emergent cases of insecurity and insurgency in the country with innovative approaches such as Operation Safe Corridor, which de-radicalize, rehabilitate, and reintegrate willingly surrendered Boko Haram members into the larger society. Our security operations in the Niger Delta, North Central, and Northwestern states are yielding desired results. We hope to get rid of bandits, kidnappers, and other criminal elements in these regions. The advent of COVID-19 pandemic and its attendant negative effects is being addressed through the constitution of our Presidential Task Force to proper coordination and the launch of the 12-month Economic Sustainability Plan to cushion the effect of the pandemic on our students and business owners. Your Excellencies, distinguished participants, I am confident that the lessons we have learned in the last 1 year of implementation of policies, programs, and projects, deliberations and resolutions from the different sessions, and experience sharing from various speakers will serve as the needed tool to propel every ministry to the next level of achievement. More importantly, the thrust reposed in us by Nigerians remains the ultimate driving force. We cannot afford to lose focus regardless of the challenges. Our eyes must therefore remain fixed on the ultimate goal. More than ever before, I charge us all to play as a team, because that is what we are. A convoy is, however, only as strong as its slowest vessel. To this end, the days of insufficient collaboration, coordination, and synergy among implementing ministries, departments, and agencies should be over. In this regard, I have directed that a central delivery coordination unit at the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation should be revived to ensure the much-needed synergy and focus on results. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation is to ensure regular reports on progress are submitted. I have to charge all of you to defend the government vigorously and not allow irresponsible and politically motivated activists to keep spreading patent falsehoods about this government. Information to the public should be better packaged. Go on the offensive. We are proud of our achievements, and we should blow our own trumpets. Let me also reiterate that all submissions for my attention or meeting requests will be channeled through the Chief of Staff, while all Federal Executive Council matters should be coordinated through the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. I have directed the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and all other responsible agencies to ensure speedy and timely release of funds to MDAs for implementation of the 2.3 trillion Naira Economic Sustainability Plan and the capital projects in the 2020 budget. I also enjoin ministers to ensure that funds released are utilized efficiently and transparently in implementing the programs and projects along the line priority of government. I am hereby charging ministers, permanent secretaries, and all heads of parastatals to be continuously conscious of their commitments and responsibilities. On behalf of the people of Nigeria, I demand the uttermost level of performance, deliverables, and results. I look forward to a result-oriented year with tremendous benefits that will continue to change the lives of our people positively. I don't think I can finish this speech without one or two digressions, which is specifically to you as ministers, permanent secretaries, and our supporters. I believe I was about the only African among the less developed countries that the President of the United States invited. And when I was in his office, only myself and himself, only God is a witness. He looked at me in the face. He said, "Why are you killing Christians?" I wonder if it were you, I wonder how you will react. I hope what I was feeling inside did not betray me before him. So I understood it. the problem between cattle rearers and stagnant farmers. I know, which was older than me, not talk of him because I think I'm a couple of years older than him, were happening. And with climate change, with population growth, and the misunderstanding of the culture of the cattle rearers, if you have 50 cows and they eat grass or something, any route to the water point, they will follow it. It doesn't matter whose farm it was. The first republic set of leadership, the most responsible leadership we ever had. I asked the Minister of Agriculture to get a gazette of the early 60s, which delineated the cattle routes, the grazing areas, where they use meager resources then to put earth dams, windmills, even sanitary departments. So any cattle rearer that allowed his cattle to go to somebody's farm is arrested, taken before a court. The farmer is called to submit his bill. Then the judge will say, cattle rearer, if he can't pay, his cattle are sold and the farmer is paid. But subsequent leaders, VVIPs, they encroach on the cattle route. They took over the cattle rearing areas. And there was a time I went to Bayelsa State, and I saw cattle rearers there in Bayelsa. So I suspect they were going into the Atlantic. So I tried and explained to him, this has got nothing to do with ethnicity or religion. It's a cultural thing which the respective leadership was failing the nation. The next problem I want to tell you is how we found ourselves. When I say us, I mean members of APC. When we promised three fundamental things: security, economy, and fighting corruption. We repeated the three fundamental things last year. But I want the Nigerian elite, please encourage them to judge us fairly. When we came, 1999 to 2014, I would like you please to check. The average production was 2.1 million barrels a day. The average cost was $100 American per barrel. When we came, it collapsed to $37 and $38 per barrel. You know it. And the militants were unleashed on the administration. The production went down to 500,000 barrels a day. I want you to please reflect, what was the condition of the infrastructure then, in spite of those earnings? The roads, the rail is dead, and there was no power. Up to now, there is no power. Where did the money go? When we came, we were faced with half the production, one side of the production, one side of the money we are getting, and with all these challenges: security, economy, and fighting corruption. So please encourage your friends, the elite, to reflect on what this administration has done, what APC has done, and what we have achieved. And when people outside the country talk of Nigeria, they say, yes, the most corrupt country in the world. Well, I'm doing my best. God has given me two chances. The first one, when I tried the way I thought I was a young man in uniform, collected the governors, the ministers, the president, put them in Kirikiri and other places, and said they were guilty until they can prove themselves innocent, put investigation panels based on geopolitical zone. Basically, anybody who followed the constitution, declared his asset, became a minister, a governor, or the president, you couldn't explain what he had, the balance is taken and is put in the federal government or the state or the institution he led. In the end, I too was arrested and detained. Nobody raised up his hand. So when I come back now, I'm trying to follow the system. I'm being called Baba Gosulo. Please, you are the ones that should reflect and pity me, because we work with you every week. I listen to you, you listen to me. I just have to concentrate. Let us do our best for our country. And I know we all believe in God. And God will look after us. So I thank you for your attention, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Progress has been made on all fronts in spite of the challenges, and the present administration remains resolute in delivering more dividends of democracy to Nigerians. That is the confidence and optimism of Mr. President. So much has been said and done in the last 2 days to re-examine and rejig key performance indicators. Okay. What is now expected of the ministers and top government functionaries is to roll up their sleeves, hit the ground running, and pull together to fast-track the delivery of the laudable programs, policies, and projects of the Buhari administration. For Nigerians, the task is to keep faith with government and support all efforts to make Nigeria a better country. My name is Mitaire Ikben. On behalf of the outside broadcast crew of the NTA, we thank you indeed for your time. We urge you to stay with NTA for continuation of our transmission schedule.
Be able to map